I want to pivot into Lamont Roach because I feel like Lamont Roach does deserve people's respect. I think his story in boxing needs to be told a lot more efficiently because I've listened to content all day today from people on, respect to all other channels, but like I just don't feel like people are really painting the picture of what Lamont Roach did to get to this point, because what he did to get to this point is very respectable. I mean, when we look at Lamont Roach early in his career, this is a guy that was national Golden Gloves champion, so he had performed at a very high level as an amateur. Um, he was the 2013 National Golden Gloves champion, right? So they don't just hand those out. You got to actually be good to win those. You can't pick you can't pick and choose who you want to fight in the amateurs. You got to actually fight, multiple times a week, multiple times a day sometimes, and he did that. So he came into the pros. There you go. He came into the pros with high hopes, with expectations, and I think he walked into a really bad situation early in his career. Like Lamont Roach signed with Golden Boy Promotions when he turned pro in like 2013, 2014. And if anybody remembers, 2013, 2014, Golden Boy Promotions, they're very much a company that was in disarray. A lot of Oscar's talent was getting stolen. A lot of those guys were in the process of going to PBC. So guys like Deontay Wilder, Danny Garcia, a lot of those fighters that were PBC stars, they were originally Golden Boy fighters. And Lamont Roach had just entered boxing when all this was beginning to happen. So he got caught in the middle of that, and he didn't go to he wasn't really sought after by PBC to go with them. And he was on Golden Boy, so he had to basically be a Golden Boy fighter while Golden Boy was rebuilding, and he was an East Coast fighter fighting for a West Coast promotion company. And it was just a really, really not the best situation for him. So what this did to Lamont Roach early in his career is it hurt what's called his market value. Market value is something that every fighter has. Gervonta Davis has market value. Journeyman have market value. My boy Angel Leo, he has market value. Every fighter in boxing has a market value, and depending upon what you do in the ring and out the ring, these things determine your market value. So things that will determine your market value outside the ring is like, are you with the right promoter? Or are you with the promoter that will bring fights to the area where your core fan base is, where you can properly build as a fighter? And a lot of fighters sign with the wrong promoters. Like in this case, Lamont Roach signed with the wrong promoter coming out the gate. So this hurt his market value. Golden Boy Promotions is primarily a Mexican and Mexican-American company that does fights on the West Coast. Lamont Roach is a Black American fighter from the DMV area. So obviously he wasn't getting those fights in the DMV area, and he didn't have any market value to speak of early in his career. And so, it's a lot of years just being on Golden Boy, not getting the fights he wanted, right? And then, as time progressed, he had lost to Jamel Herring, challenging for the world title. I think it was like in 2019. Had to rebuild, had to fight the guys like Rene Alvarado and things like that. And then eventually, he gets a shot against Hector Garcia, and he beats Hector Garcia, and he becomes champion. But, the reason why I respect Lamont Roach so much is because when the Golden Boy contract expired, him and his dad, Lamont Roach Sr., they got their own promoter's license. They started their own promotional company, and that promotional company was called No Excuse Promotions, right? And he's not like like how these guys like Earl Spence and these other like fighters in boxing, they have their promoter's license, but they're really just tax write-offs, and they're just they're not really their own promoter. They're still under the PBC umbrella. Like those guys aren't really promotional free agents like they say they are. Lamont Roach is truly a promotional free agent, and he has been one since the Golden Boy Promotions contract ran out. So when promoters talk to him, they got to talk directly to him and his father. And like, funny enough, when he was going through the process of getting the Hector Garcia fight, that fight actually went to purse bid, and Lamont Roach and his dad, No Excuse Promotions, their company, they put in a bid for the purse bid. They put in a $351,000 purse bid for the Hector Garcia fight. Now, did they win the purse bid? No, they didn't. But what it did was it forced the other promoters that bid on the fight to actually pay more money for the fight if they wanted the rights to the fight. So the winning bid wasn't the bid for $351,000. It actually wound up being TGB's offer, which was $410,000. So they put their money where their mouth is. Where their mouth is. They intentionally drove the value up of their own fight. All right, and then he was the underdog in that fight, and he came and he upset Hector Garcia. So he talks the talk and he walks the walk, and he's a real stand-up guy, and that's why I have a lot of respect for Lamont Roach and how he goes about his business. His last fight, when he fought Farragon McCroy, right? That was a fight that he put in the DMV area. It was a fight that he did a co-promotion, No Excuse Promotions, his company, in association with ProBox. So ProBox saw enough value in Lamont Roach, and Lamont Roach saw enough value in himself to put the fight on in his own hometown in the DMV area against Farragon McCroy, put on a good fight, and I'm sure was able to keep more of the money for himself. And that's the story of Lamont Roach. The story of Lamont Roach is the story of a fighter who was a well-accomplished amateur who made a bad decision business-wise that affected the very early and middle parts of his career, and he's now rectified that decision. He's bet on himself every single time, and it's paid off. And now he's champion, and now he's getting one of, if not the biggest paydays and biggest fights you can get in any weight class in boxing, and that's the Gervonta Davis fight. So that's the Lamont Roach story.